Welcome to the best show about relationships. Become a free member on my website for my free 1-hour video and free advice and so much more. Subscribe and share this video and let us begin, shall we? All right. First comment out of 3. People who date men. Remember that men are in a loneliness epidemic. You are in demand, not them. So stop dating like you're the one who has to perform to be chosen, and remember that you are the hot commodity. Remember that given the chance, men will line up to be considered by you. Make these men do the primping and preening for the opportunity to be with you. It's how nature is intended to work. Oh boy. Here we go. We're already starting it off with the toxic woman here. I'd say toxic female. Wow. Okay. So let's go ahead and break it down. People who date men. Really? You couldn't just say, hey, women out there? Did you really have to say people who date men? I mean, it sounds like a laboratory experiment. The loneliness epidemic is real. Yes. It does exist, and it's not supposed to exist. The men who are unfortunately either too lazy or too emotionally defeated to go out there and find the right one, slowly but surely, yes, they form what's called the loneliness epidemic. If you can't find a suitable candidate to be a potential lifelong partner, then you have to either move cities, move states, move country, move continents, whatever it takes. But unfortunately, far too many men are avoiding that only option because they think everybody's toxic, which is false. There are plenty of beautiful women out there, inside and out, great personalities who will be a perfect lifelong partner. But as long as you continue to believe the false illusion that there's nobody out there for you, then you're going to be part of what's called the pathetic loneliness epidemic. I say pathetic because you're the one making that reality for yourself. Now, while that is true, let's go ahead and tear apart this toxic female's comment here. You are in demand. Well, so are great men, because great men also exist, okay? It's not just great women out there. By the way, this one is not a great woman, in case you haven't heard already, because I called her a toxic female, unworthy to be called a real woman with this type of attitude. There are great men out there, and there are great women. That'll always be the case, no matter how many toxic people exist in the world today, 10, 20 years, 50, 100 years from now. And yes, they're going to introduce robots, and you're going to want you to have a relationship with the robot, which is even more pathetic. So don't choose an android as your lifelong companion, because talk about pitying you. Nothing but pity. Seriously? Nothing. No type of robot can replace the genuine, real love from a real woman. Nothing. No amount of technology. You've got to be absurd, completely sad of a specimen to call yourself a man, to want to be with a robot forever, or a virtual relationship with some type of artificial intelligence, yada yada. But that's a conversation for another day. So stop dating like you're the one who has to perform to be chosen. What are you even talking about? So take a back seat and be lazy? Is that what you're trying to tell women out there? Oh, you don't have to do anything. Just, be yourself. Don't change for any man. So why even bother? Why even bother mentioning the possibility of dating when you don't even like the idea of women dating men? You don't even believe that great men exist. You're just saying, well, there's more of us than, there are, like, you're just saying that you're the prize, and that actually you're saying that there's fewer women and there's more men out there, which that's false. There might be displacement among populations according to what's the ratio between men and women, but that's not the point. You're trying to say that women are the prize and that you should just go ahead and treat men like products. That's what you're suggesting, a hot commodity. Seriously? So women are hot commodities. And that goes against what a lot of feminist extremists say about men are objectifying women, treating us like, products. Yeah, pretty much objectifying. Well, there you go, objectifying women. A hot commodity. Seriously? And then given the chance, men will line up to be considered by you. No, they won't. A smart man will know when to step away and say, well, looks like you got lots of candidates to deal with and you don't quite know what you want, because that's the only scenario that would be fitting in that particular case. A woman who doesn't know who to choose, lining up. All right, so no man is going to want to be with such a person who's just going to have a line of guys and wanting to choose, who do I choose, A to Z. No real man. I mean, of course, the desperate men, they're going to line up. There will always be desperate men and there will always be desperate women lining up for the good guys and the good girls out there, the good women. But you're just assuming that all the men are going to line up. That's false. You're not going to get a great man that way with that type of attitude and anybody following this garbage advice. Make these men do all the work, right? The opportunity to be with you. So it's not an opportunity to be with a great man? Is that what you're saying? This is really crazy here. This is what's called discrimination against men, right? So this is being a sexist, essentially. You're just being a sexist. You think that women are the prize and men are just going to fight all over you. No. They're not going to fight over you. All right? So that's the end of that garbage comment. Seriously. I mean, there's not much else I can say. It's just trash. The whole thing is just sexist. It's despicable. It really is. But it's always going to be there. For men out there, don't hang your head in despair because there are beautiful women out there. But it's up to you. You got to make it happen. I can't make that happen for you. I can give you great advice, but you're going to have to be the one to take that advice and put it into practice to help your own life. Nobody can do it for you. But if you're going to believe that all the women are toxic, then that's your fault. All right, next comment. I hate the way breasts have been sexualized. Okay? You mean breasts? It's so stupid. I think what you're saying is stupid. Since when have breasts been sexualized? A body part that's literally made to feed babies. Okay, that's called the mammary glands. Very good. Looks like somebody went through eighth grade science. Science class in the 8th grade. I'm glad you paid attention. Be a food source turned into the pleasure for men. It is a pleasure for men. Just like women like a nice strong chest on a man, whether he lifts weights or not. Women like that. They like big strong arms. What's wrong with that? That's sexualized. A man's private parts are sexualized. His legs, his glutes, right? His butt. For those of you who don't know what glutes are. All of it's sexualized. What's wrong with human sexuality? Is this another sexist comment by a toxic female? Women have to cover up for fear of enticing men. What are you talking about? It's one thing to breastfeed a baby, and it's another thing to be showing cleavage to men, which is great. You should show off your sexuality responsibly, by the way. Given that you're in a safe location, not at some crazy biker bar where all the guys are drunk. That's not really smart, but, well, maybe something happens to you, maybe not. I mean, there's criminals everywhere. You never know. Evil happens whether you like it or not. It's not necessarily all men's fault or all women, because there's evil women out there too. So, you never know when evil will strike. But for the most part, yeah, just be careful. When you're being overly sexual in some places, there's a time and place for that, right? Just like there's a time and place to wear full lingerie and nothing else. or a jacket with nothing else underneath. I mean, you're not going to go in public out there like that. I would hope not, because there's a time and place for that type of level of sexuality. So women have to cover up for fear of enticing men. Well, if you really have fear of enticing men for showing your breasts, serious? Who are jealous of babies being fed, that is absolute garbage. You've got to be joking. You've got to be joking. The level of immaturity and ignorance here. Jealous of babies being fed. Wow. Just wow. I feel like I shouldn't even go over that level of absurdity. Men jealous of babies suckling on a woman's breast. Really? Is that where we are in today's world? Unbelievable. I am speechless. That's perhaps the most speechless part of the entire series, I have to say. I really don't even want to address that. It's so pathetically sad that this came out from a toxic female out there. Just another example of how men in the patriarchy, oh, that explains everything. So you're a feminist extremist, right? Ruin everything. No, sister. You're the only one ruining everything here. Just like you said, ruin everything. And you're miserable, and it shows. All right? Your misery is showing. Might want to cover that up. In fact, that's the only thing that should be covered up here, because a woman breastfeeding, you should feed your baby proud in public and private, whatever. It's your baby. And real men love that there's great mothers out there taking care of their babies, their children, right? That's what a real man wants. We're not going to feel jealous. There's a time and place for that. No, there's some men out there who get excited about the idea of watching a woman go to the bathroom to use the bathroom, but that's kind of like some sick men out there, okay? You shouldn't really get aroused by that stuff. To each their own. But somebody being jealous about watching a baby feed milk off of their mother, like, seriously, that's where we're at. I'm just going to go ahead and leave it at that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. No, it's just the stereotype of assuming that all men are toxic and have mental problems. That's the type of garbage that we have out there. It does work both ways, but it's really extra sickening to see toxic females out there behaving this way. All right, last comment of the show. The worst position a man can be is in the nice guy. All right, so we did go over this in a recent episode, but nice guys are weak. No, they're not. Nice guys are simply nice guys. What are you even talking about? They're not simps. They do have a backbone. So this is a complete wrong definition of what a nice guy is. Fear conflict and avoid pressure. Maybe, to a certain extent. Maybe they know better not to mess with the bad situation and make it worse. How do you know? It depends on a case-by-case basis. The bad guys, they make very poor decisions. So they always look for conflict. And they put pressure on others. And there are consequences. Actions have consequences. So which is it? You want the bad boy who gets himself into problems? Possibly even legal problems? And it'll get you involved too. And that's the illusion of being strong. And the woman's man, the lady's man. It's all an illusion. You can't have one extreme or the other. Nice guys are right in between. They have a little bit of that bad boy personality when they need to be a bad boy. But they're nice guys because they're educated guys. They're intelligent and wise guys. There's another term, wise guy. Why are we all focused on the nice guy? Because the way I see nice guys are wise guys. They're smart. They know how to act, when to act, who to act to, whenever necessary. Put somebody in their place if they have to. They don't fear anybody. They're not simps. They're not weak. They have a strong backbone. But they do the smart thing, which is to avoid conflict whenever possible. And to avoid adding pressure when it's not necessary. Men, stop being the nice guy. You mean men stop being weak, simps, have a backbone? I mean, like, what's really the message here? Because the definition of nice guy, you clearly got wrong. You failed miserably. It is the fastest way to lose respect, power, and women. No, not the term nice guy. You mean a weak guy. Stop being weak. Yes, and I agree with that. And eventually you lose respect for yourself. You'll lose any sense of power that you could have had according to your own potential. And the chance to be with a lifelong partner, a great woman by your side, absolutely. But this here is a complete wrong definition for a nice guy. This is not what a nice guy is. This is a weak guy. Huge difference, a world of a difference here. All right, so congratulations, you failed the exam. All right. If you made it this far, it's time to become a free member on my website. You'll get free relationship advice and so much more, access to my 1-hour video as well. Also, drop a comment. Be a little bit vocal with the topic that you'd like for me to go over in a future show. Much love, everybody.